entitled Illustrative Becoming. Come on inside, I'll show you the work. So, what is illustrative becoming? Well, it's a practice of drawing that maps an individual's past to better understand their identity. And this is a term that I created. It's creating a face-to-face conversation with someone's history that allows the individual to actively address memories through intimately drawn performance of life. So I decided that I would create artwork that mapped my personal journey through race and identity. So this piece right here is entitled Childhood Memories. And this is all about different moments and experiences that I had as a child when it came to my race. And so I'm going to quickly show you just some of the moments that are represented here. There's also a video that will explain more, which if you come by, you can take a look at that. But I grew up in all white spaces, so schools, neighborhoods, all of my friends were white, and so this piece right here represents those moments. So in the middle, we see how I'm trying to deal with chemical burns and all those things that come with trying to straighten my hair to be more, have my texture more like those that were around me. I typically drop the LA in my name just so that it was easier for people to pronounce. I also did not like the shade of my skin tone, and so I always wondered why I had to be as dark as I was. Over here it shows how in the neighborhood we lived in, how I saw things that were happening with my parents. My mother, she was mistaken as the maid when she would answer the door, and my dad was often stopped by police for just entering the neighborhood. And we also lived in a swim community where when we entered the gates, the neighbors would try to slam the gate closed in our face, and they would all exit the pool, leaving us to swim alone. Let's look at some more. So the reason why I created this artwork was for myself. I found that I was running away from my race and my culture as far as how I used it in my artwork. I wasn't trying to make any artwork that came across as being black, and I wanted to figure out why that was, why I would run from it instead of running to it. And so I actually took an implicit bias test, which indicated that I had an automatic preference for white people over black. And so this is my journey of trying to better understand why I chose to do that. And this is me forcing myself to really investigate my race and my identity and how that relates to my artwork. So I'm going to show you a little bit about my process with certain pieces. So this one in particular, this is entitled Blackness. And I first want to reference the materials that I use. So this is ink on vellum. And underneath I have my sketch drawing on Bristol board. And the reason why I decided to choose this material is the vellum represents this transparent quality of this process of reflecting. I have to be very transparent and vulnerable in the way that I'm explaining and sharing my story. It also allows for me to show the fragility of the conversation. And so what I did is I actually used graphite for the underdrawing, and then the ink goes on top with the vellum. So let me explain this piece a little bit. So blackness is showing how In different arenas, when a person with a physical disability walks in, people notice. They notice the disability before they notice the person. And I feel like our blackness precedes us in different rooms. So just as someone with a disability, my blackness goes before me. So people notice that I'm black before they notice that I am anything else. And so here I show myself in the bank where my blackness is meeting the banker first, in a work environment, interviews, in the conference room, retail, and of course with police. So let's continue looking at some other pieces. So one of the things that's important that I've learned from this process is that I have a lot of experiences that I didn't even realize I had pushed aside or ignored, but they're actually very impactful for other people to hear my story and to experience this alongside with me. So I talk about relationships, things that are happening in the workplace, being a parent, I'm all black, and even encounters with my children. So I want to share this piece right here. It's entitled Identity. And it's ink on paper, white ink on black paper. And this is kind of showing the impact of all this on me. So I chose to do this. I chose to explore my race for my own personal growth. So Illustrative Becoming is all about my personal experience in drawing some more in order to better understand how different things have happened affect how I view myself, my culture, and where I go from here. I'm on this journey of finding my voice, and by doing these drawings, I'm able to find my artistic voice and share it with all of you. So identity represents how my identity rests in my story. This actually has my fingerprint that I tried to capture there. But it shows that because of my experiences, I don't stand on a black side or a white side. I'm able to create bridges and build bridges, but I also can craft my own stone to stand on. But I'm still rooted in my story. And my story is not complete, and sometimes these things come in pieces. Sometimes it's very large sections, and sometimes it's just little pieces, but that's my story. And my story is where my identity lies. So I invite you to explore your story and capture what those moments, all those different moments in your life, how they come together to give you your voice. So what is it that I want you to learn from this show? I want you to learn that your story is important and that sharing your story is important and that you don't realize, I didn't realize just how impactful me sharing in this way will help other people to explore and think about their own racial encounters and how they affect others. And so I wanted to find a way to continue this conversation. So before I talk about what I want you to do when you're leaving this, or even when you come in, I want to make sure that I extend an invitation to you to come to the Kennedy Heights Arts Center and check out the artwork for yourself. So the gallery hours are Wednesday through Saturday. Wednesday through Friday, the hours are 10 to 5, and Saturday 11 to 4. And I have a book for you to fill out. I would love for you to leave a sketch or a note or some type of message or just a signature to let me know that you stopped by. And also leave any comments because I want to learn from you as well. But as you notice behind me, there is a QR code. And if you hover your smartphone camera over it, it actually gives you a list of questions to continue this conversation. And I want you to take those questions and I want you to ask yourself those questions, but I also want you to engage with others. And this is important. This is a process. Illustrative Becoming is a process. So we don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to continue to draw, continue to map my experiences, and continue to share. So thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy the show.